Of the many founding fathers of the United States, 7 stand out as the most impactful, significant, and far-reaching. They are John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and George Washington. John Adams was one of the earliest proponents of the American Revolution. A lawyer, he served as one of the 5 men who drafted the Declaration of Independence. He then traveled to France alongside Benjamin Franklin to secure French aid for the United States and helped to negotiate an end to the war through the Treaty of Paris. He drafted the Constitution for the state of Massachusetts, served as the first Vice President of the United States under George Washington, and succeeded Washington to become the 2nd President of the U.S. Benjamin Franklin was a self-taught author, printer, scientist, inventor, and diplomat, who is most famous for his inventions of the bifocal glasses and the lightning rod. At the start of the Revolutionary War, Franklin was one of just 5 men who drafted the Declaration of Independence. He became effectively the first ambassador of the United States when he traveled to France and secured lasting French assistance for the American cause. He even helped negotiate the Treaty of Paris, which officially ended the Revolutionary War. After the war, he served as an elder statesman at the Constitutional Convention, where the Constitution of the United States was written. Alexander Hamilton was both an illegitimate child and an orphan who emigrated to what would become the United States from the British West Indies. He was the aide-de-camp, or confidential assistant, to George Washington during the Revolutionary War. After the war, he was a driving force for the adoption of the U.S. Constitution, writing the vast majority of the Federalist Papers, a series of news articles that helped sway public opinion in favor of the Constitution. He would serve under Washington again, this time as the first Secretary of the Treasury, a post he used for the creation of a national bank. John Jay is unique among the Founding Fathers in that he initially advocated for reconciliation with the British monarchy. During the Revolutionary War, he served as diplomat to Spain, joining Benjamin Franklin and John Adams in France to negotiate the Treaty of Paris and end the war. He served as Secretary of Foreign Affairs under the Articles of Confederation, the precursor to the Constitution. He authored several of the Federalist Papers advocating for the replacement of those articles with the Constitution. He would then serve as the first Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. Thomas Jefferson was, like John Adams, a lawyer. Jefferson headed the committee to draft the Declaration of Independence. He served as the first Secretary of State under the first President, George Washington, as Vice President under the second President, John Adams, and finally as the 3rd President of the United States. Jefferson had a fundamentally different view of the United States than some of the other Founding Fathers, such as Alexander Hamilton and John Adams, with whom he clashed constantly. James Madison, a friend and supporter of Thomas Jefferson, was the most influential member of the Constitutional Convention. Seeking a replacement for the failing Articles of Confederation, Madison devised the plan to divide the government into 3 branches, held together by a system of checks and balances. His work during the Constitutional Convention was so impactful it earned him the moniker the Father of the Constitution. Madison co-authored the Federalist Papers, which advocated for the Constitution, alongside John Jay and Alexander Hamilton. He would serve as the driving force behind the U.S. Bill of Rights, become a U.S. Congressman, serve as Secretary of State under Thomas Jefferson, and become the 4th President of the United States. George Washington was the commander of the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War. Though he suffered numerous defeats and was constantly hounded by British forces, Washington's leadership held the United States' earliest army together against all odds. Over the course of 8 years, he managed to slowly expel the British from the United States with the help of the French. In 1787, George Washington served as the head of the Constitutional Convention, where the United States reformed the federal government from the Articles of Confederation to the Constitution. In 1789, he was elected as the first President of the United States. A firm believer in the democratic transition of power, he willingly stepped down after only 2 terms as president, despite objections from many of his contemporaries. Among the Founding Fathers, these 7 men stand out as true visionaries and fundamental shapers of the American nation. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already to see more videos just like this one. Be sure to check out our social medias listed down below.